Think about a moment you've likely experienced recently. You are standing in the grocery store, holding a box or a can, and reading the nutrition label. Your eyes scan straight down to the sodium line. You have done this dozens, maybe hundreds of times. You carefully put back the soup with too much salt. You buy the low-sodium crackers even though they taste like cardboard. You completely skip the savory snacks your family loves because you are trying to do the right thing for your health. But then you sit down that evening. You wrap the cuff around your arm, press the button, and watch the monitor count down. And the numbers are still exactly where they were last month. Maybe they're even higher. If that quiet, exhausting moment, that feeling of doing everything right and getting zero results, feels familiar to you, then what you are about to hear over the next few minutes might be the most practically useful piece of information you receive this year. Because here is the truth that mainstream health advice rarely emphasizes. Cutting out sodium is only half the puzzle, and the other half, the hidden half that works directly inside your kidneys, your artery walls, and your fluid balance, is likely sitting completely untouched on your plate every single day. Today, we are uncovering the hidden cellular counterweight that naturally coaxes your blood vessels to relax, and how shifting your focus from what you remove to what you add can change your vascular health forever. To understand why your numbers can stay stubbornly high, even on a bland diet, we have to look at how fluid moves through your body. Think of your cardiovascular system as a delicate plumbing network. When you consume sodium, it acts exactly like a microscopic sponge inside your bloodstream. It draws excess water into your blood vessels to keep things diluted. But when more fluid is trapped inside the exact same limited space, the internal pressure against your vessel walls inevitably goes up. This is what high blood pressure actually is. It is your heart being forced to pump harder every single second of the day just to push fluid through that crowded system. But here is where it gets interesting, and it is the exact part most people miss. Your body was never designed to manage this pressure using just one brake pedal. It relies on a beautifully balanced internal seesaw. On one side of the seesaw is sodium. On the exact opposite side is an essential mineral that acts as your body's built-in pressure release valve, and that mineral is potassium. When your system is running low on this vital mineral, the seesaw gets stuck. Your kidneys, which act as your master water filters, lose their ability to clear out waste efficiently. Instead of flushing out the excess fluid, they hold on to it. But when you introduce an abundant supply of this missing mineral, a biological green light turns on. It signals your kidneys to immediately start filtering out the excess fluid and sodium, gently dropping the volume in your pipes. Research consistently shows that higher potassium intake tells your kidneys to excrete sodium through a process called natriuresis. The more potassium available, the stronger that excretion signal becomes. Studies have found that increasing daily potassium can lower your top systolic number by 4 to 6 points on average, and in people with a significant deficiency, that reduction can be considerably larger. But the kidneys are only the first chapter of this story. And this is the part most people have genuinely never heard. Potassium also works directly on the living walls of your blood vessels. Your arteries are not rigid, inanimate pipes. They are living, muscular, flexible structures. Your arteries are wrapped in a layer of smooth muscle. When your body is deficient in potassium, these tiny muscles become highly reactive and lock up, falling into a state of chronic, subtle tightness. It is like trying to force water through a rigid, frozen metal pipe instead of a soft garden hose. By restoring this missing element, you allow those tense vessel walls to calm down, widen, and regain their natural elasticity because potassium influences the way electrical signals move through those very muscle cells, keeping them relaxed and responsive. There is even a third mechanism, and this one connects directly to something your arteries produce on their own. The inner lining of your arteries, a paper-thin layer called the endothelium, produces a molecule called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is your body's native molecule for keeping circulation smooth, warm, and wide open. Adequate potassium directly supports that nitric oxide production, and when potassium runs low, that production declines, removing one more layer of your body's native cardiovascular protection. So when we simplify the science, potassium pulls three separate levers inside your cardiovascular system all at the same time. It signals your kidneys to remove excess sodium, it tells your artery walls to stay open and relaxed, and it supports the molecules your arteries use to protect themselves. Yet, due to modern food processing, a staggering majority of adults over the age of 40 are operating on a silent, continuous deficit. The recommended daily intake for blood pressure support is approximately 3,400 milligrams for men and 2,600 milligrams for women, with research suggesting that intakes above 3,500 milligrams per day show the most consistent benefit. The average adult, however, consumes consistently below the threshold where blood pressure benefits become meaningful, keeping their blood vessels in a state of constant, unnecessary friction. Let's look at what happens when this balance is ignored through the experience of a retired school principal named Eleanor. Eleanor approached her health with the exact same discipline she used to run her school. When her monitor started showing numbers in the 150s, she immediately went to work. She cut out canned foods, stopped using the salt shaker entirely, and ate plain chicken and steamed vegetables every single night, following the traditional rules perfectly. But after months of eating joyless, flavorless meals, her blood pressure was still 154/91 while taking two medications. What Eleanor didn't realize was that her strict diet was so restricted that she had accidentally stripped away the very minerals her blood vessels required to relax. Her diet was genuinely low in sodium, but it was also completely empty of potassium. She had stopped eating beans due to digestive worries, she avoided bananas because someone told her they were too sweet, and she ate salads made mostly of pale iceberg lettuce, which provides almost no meaningful nutrition. She was winning half the battle, while the other half went completely unaddressed. Once she understood this hidden mechanism and began strategically adding specific, nutrient-dense whole foods back into her routine, her vascular system finally received the tools it needed. Within weeks, her blood vessels began to soften, her circulation improved, and her home monitor readings steadily settled down into the 130s. More than the numbers, Eleanor said something profound. For years, I felt like I was doing everything right, and my body was failing me. Now I feel like I finally understand what my body actually needed. Take a moment to imagine what that shift would feel like in your own life. Picture checking your numbers at home and seeing a consistent, normal reading that brings an immediate sense of relief and control, rather than anxiety and frustration. True cardiovascular wellness is not about living in a constant state of dietary deprivation or feeling guilt over every single bite you take. Your vascular system is remarkably resilient. When you stop starving it of the biological inputs it needs to balance itself, your blood vessels can begin to recover their natural flexibility. Let's get highly specific. Here are the 8 foods most powerfully supported by research for potassium and blood pressure, and exactly how to begin working them into your daily routine to pull those 3 cardiovascular levers. First, we have baked potatoes and sweet potatoes. You can start here because almost nobody expects it. The humble baked potato, one of the most ordinary foods available, contains over 900 milligrams of potassium per medium serving. A baked sweet potato comes in at over 500 milligrams and brings a rich dose of magnesium along with it. Magnesium and potassium work together on blood vessel walls in beautiful harmony, helping those tense muscles open up in ways that neither mineral achieves alone. Eating a baked potato or sweet potato a few times a week makes a massive contribution to your daily target without overhauling anything else. Second, consider cooked leafy greens. Cooked spinach delivers approximately 840 milligrams of potassium per cup, while Swiss chard comes in near 960 milligrams per cup, which is one of the highest concentrations of any common vegetable. Cooking matters immensely here because the heat gently breaks down the sturdy plant cell walls, making the dense mineral content far more concentrated and significantly easier for your digestive system to absorb than a massive bowl of raw salad. Beyond potassium, cooked spinach is rich in dietary nitrates, which your body actively converts into nitric oxide, meaning you are addressing multiple vascular pathways with a single simple side dish. Third on our list is the avocado. A single full avocado contains close to 975 milligrams of potassium, and even just a half delivers nearly 480 milligrams. Avocados also contain healthy monounsaturated fats, which research has associated with reduced arterial inflammation. When you add magnesium and folate into the mix, both of which support the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels, you have one of the most nutrient-dense single foods for cardiovascular support available. Studies have found that people who consume avocado regularly tend to show healthier vascular responses, and slicing half of one over your lunch is a very low-effort, high-return addition. Fourth is wild-caught salmon. A 3-ounce serving of cooked salmon provides approximately 370 milligrams of potassium, but its most significant cardiovascular contribution comes from its dense concentration of omega-3 fatty acids, specifically EPA and DHA. These healthy fats are associated with reduced vascular inflammation and improved arterial elasticity. While the potassium works directly on the kidney sodium pathways and arterial relaxation, the omega-3s actively combat arterial stiffness. If fresh fish feels too expensive or inconvenient, affordable canned wild salmon offers the exact same cardiovascular benefits and can be easily baked into simple patties alongside your cooked spinach. Fifth, we look at beans and lentils, which may be the most underused food category for blood pressure management today. White beans deliver approximately 1,190 milligrams of potassium per cooked cup, which is an exceptional concentration. Lentils come in around 730 milligrams per cup, and kidney beans, black beans, and chickpeas all contribute meaningfully. Beyond potassium, beans provide soluble fiber and plant-based protein, a combination that independently supports cardiovascular health. If digestive discomfort has kept you away from beans, simply start small with 2 or 3 tablespoons stirred into a soup, and be sure to rinse canned beans thoroughly under water, as this removes much of the compounds that cause gas, allowing your system to adjust smoothly over a week or two. Sixth, let's look at bananas and uncover the truth about them. Bananas have developed an undeserved reputation in some health circles as being too sweet or too high in carbohydrates. For most adults managing blood pressure, this concern is overstated. A medium banana contains approximately 375 milligrams of potassium, but it also contains pectin and resistant starch, which are types of fiber that naturally slow down the absorption of its natural sugars. The whole fruit behaves very differently in your body than the added sugars found in processed foods, making a daily banana an accessible, affordable, and evidence-consistent choice for your vascular system. Seventh, we have cantaloupe and whole oranges. Cantaloupe is frequently overlooked, yet 1 cup of cubed cantaloupe delivers approximately 430 milligrams of potassium. Its high water content also deeply supports hydration, and chronic low-grade dehydration is an underappreciated contributor to elevated blood pressure, particularly in older adults. Whole oranges, and we mean the whole fruit, not the juice, deliver around 240 milligrams of potassium along with a compound called hesperidin, which research has associated with improved blood vessel function. The entire fruit, with its fiber included, interacts with your metabolism much more gently than a glass of juice does. Eighth, welcome plain yogurt back to your counter. A cup of plain, low-fat yogurt provides approximately 380 to 450 milligrams of potassium, along with calcium, which plays a major supporting role in blood vessel function. The key word here is strictly plain. The heavily sweetened yogurt varieties that fill most grocery store dairy cases contain added sugar levels that can work directly against the cardiovascular benefits of the minerals. Choosing plain yogurt and adding a small portion of fresh blueberries gives you potassium, calcium, protein, and powerful antioxidants in a single, low-effort morning meal. An important reminder regarding medical safety. If you are currently taking prescription blood pressure medications, especially diuretics, often called water pills, it is absolutely essential to speak with your healthcare provider before making major changes to your mineral intake. Certain diuretics cause your kidneys to flush out potassium along with the sodium, meaning the medication working to lower your fluid volume may simultaneously be drawing down the very mineral your arteries need to stay relaxed. Signs of low potassium can include muscle cramps, unexplained fatigue, and weakness, which people often mistake for general aging. Always work hand in hand with your doctor, and please do not self-manage with large supplement doses, as dietary whole foods are almost always the preferred, safest approach. Putting this natural defense system to work in your daily life does not require a complete lifestyle overhaul. It simply requires a practical step-by-step plan based on consistency. Your first step is to simply map your potassium gaps. For the next several days, just pay attention to your plate at each meal and ask yourself if at least one potassium-rich food is present. If you reach the end of a meal without a leafy green, a bean, a piece of fruit, a potato, or yogurt, that meal delivered almost no vascular support. Do not judge it, just notice it, because that simple awareness naturally reshapes how you shop. Your second step is to add just one of these foods per meal consistently. In the morning, slide a handful of cooked spinach into your eggs or enjoy a banana with your coffee. Midday, slice half an avocado over your meal. In the evening, serve a baked sweet potato alongside your protein or stir a few tablespoons of white beans into your soup. These are small, deliberate acts of addition that accumulate into real physiological change over time. If you want a simple day-by-day roadmap to organize these exact dietary adjustments and lifestyle habits without any of the overwhelming guesswork, that is precisely why we put together the 30-day Blood Pressure Reset Foundation. This is a supportive educational blueprint designed to completely eliminate the confusion of cardiovascular wellness, providing you with straightforward, flavor-packed meal frameworks, gentle movement plans like short post-meal walks, and practical tracking tools to help you seamlessly build a resilient foundation for your longevity. If that sounds like something that would help you stay consistent, you can find the direct link to learn more in the description right below this video. Bring what you have learned here to your next medical appointment. Let your doctor know you are actively improving your sodium-potassium balance through whole foods, and ask to have your levels checked with a simple blood test. This puts you in a much more informed, active position in your own healthcare journey. Here is what we want you to leave with today. Your blood pressure control system is not broken, and your body has not given up on you. In many cases, it has simply been operating with an incomplete set of tools. The sodium side has been aggressively managed, but the potassium side was never properly addressed. Now you know what to add, you know exactly why it matters, and you understand the biology behind it clearly enough to make that choice with real confidence. Small, consistent additions, real human physiology, and a body that already knows exactly what to do with these nutrients are all ready and waiting for you. The question is not whether this natural approach is worth trying. The research has already answered that beautifully. The only question left is what you choose to put on your plate tonight. If this video helped you understand a hidden side of your vascular health that mainstream advice has never properly explained, please take a moment to subscribe to Heart Strong Lab right now. By clicking that subscribe button, you ensure that clear, evidence-based health education continues to reach you and the thousands of others looking for real clarity. If you have a spouse, a sibling, a neighbor, or a friend who has been strictly restricting their food for years without seeing results, please share this video with them today. They might be just one conversation away from discovering the missing piece to their health. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in our next video.